Hi, this is Wildman Frost again with another edition of Frosty Boy's Garage for Little Hot Wheels. So tonight I wanted to cover the basics, tools and stuff that we need for the cars. The first thing you're going to want is a number 50 drill bit. That's a number 50 drill bit. That's going to be used for drilling holes that we will tap with our number 50 tap for the screws, because we're going to use the number 50 by 3/16 or 1/4, depending what you can get around your area. Of course, you can see here I've done the 8JB weld to hold mine into a nut. That's a suggestion from Poochman. It works really well. You tap it out. When you're drilling and tapping with that drill bit, it helps to use some wax. You can see here I've got some wax in here. And I use the honey wax. Go to the farmer's market and we get honey there. Works really great to drink. To eat, in your drinks. But they also have honey wax there, and you can get that pretty cheap. And honey wax is a natural lubricant, so that comes in really handy. Small set of files. You can get a set of 10 of these files at Harbor Freight. You can see here I've taken a 1/8. That's a 1/8 drill bit, and I've drilled out a pencil and super glued it in there to make a handle. The first file that you want to use, that you're going to have a lot of, is the round file. This round file comes in really handy for shaping cars. If you've modified them, taking out burrs and whatnot and nicks without creating a divot in your metal. Also, the point is very fine, as you can see here. Works great for cleaning out crevices that your stripper doesn't get. Stripper is another thing you definitely want to have, paint stripper. The flat file works really great for evening up surfaces, matching, keeping everything on the same plane like that. And so you want to have that flat file. That's going to come in handy quite a bit for doing, I guess you call them, lifting the rear end. You're going to want this nice little angler blade. You can see how it comes to a really thin point on this side. It works really great for cutting that first groove for your axle. And then once it's down deep enough to where you want it, then you want to use this nice little oval. You can see here it's an oval shaped blade. Turn it slow for you. And then that will open it up wide enough so your axle can drop all the way down to the bottom. We'll go through on how to do that later. You want a Dremel tool. So you can see here I've got a Dremel tool. Dremel tool definitely comes in handy. You can see here on the end I've got a cutter. These blades, you can get a set of them at Harbor Freight. And the small one's the one you want to use. It works great for modifying cars, cutting roofs off, cutting hoods out, and whatnot. So you want to come in that. Small paintbrush. What I mean by small is the tip is pretty fine. You can see here, there's my finger. Works good for general detail work. And then you want to go even finer. And you can see how fine that one is for the extremely fine detail works, headlights, taillights, and so forth. You can get these at Jo-Ann Fabrics or any type of craft store like that in your area that you have. The next thing you want is you want to have a pin vise. Basically, it has a collet in here. What a collet is a small little device like this. You can see here it's got 4 openings, and as you tighten down on this crimps down and holds your pieces in place. Collets are interchangeable on a good pin vise between this and the Dremel. The Dremel also uses collets. Pin vise is great for holding your even smaller drill bits. This drill bit is the same size as a pin, which you can use for pinning your cars into place. And I just have a driver with the Torx, the number 8 torque head. The screws I get are number 8 torque heads. They're 256 by 1/4. That's what I use because it's close by here. Over here in Ann Arbor, I can grab that bad boy and get it for, I think it's 25. Yeah, 25 for 25. So basically they're like 10 cents a piece, which is not too bad for the screws. Cheaper than the hobby shop where you're going to pay like, you know, what did they want? $1.50, almost a quarter a piece for 4 of them. Or 5 of them, something like that. It might be even more. Well, before I show you these, you can get these sticks here, which are just basically like popsicle sticks. They call them craft sticks. You can get them for $1. You can see you get a whole bunch of them. I'm not sure how many are in this package. 100 it says, 100 count. And what you can do then is you can cut it down like that, and then you just super glue your sandpaper. I can remember sandpaper to the end, and you can use that to get into your fine crevices. You can see here I wrote down the grit, so I remember one's 40, one's 80. Looks really good for getting into those crevices. You're going to want a drill. This is what I use, just a small little high torque drill. Then 5/32 is what I use to drill out the quote rivet, so you can pop the car apart, separate the body from the chassis. Works fine for me, really good. Of course, you'll want a warmer for your wax to keep it warm. They make candle warmers, like Poochman said, for about $6-7, but they also make cup warmers for your coffee for about the same price too. So either one works. Keeps it warm. And then you definitely want an X-Acto knife. A sharp one is better. You can see here, this is just a regular standard X-Acto knife, sharp blade. And I wanted to make this video tonight because these blades are really sharp. And what we do with the drill bits, the cutter, and so forth, they can be dangerous. So if you're young, under 18, and you're doing these hobbies on your own, you need to make sure somebody's home in case you have an accident. Make sure your parents know what you're doing and what you're using. I was being very safe, trying to cut the thing off the stripper can because the child safety thing was worn out on the inside, couldn't get it open, had my finger down below the can, and the knife jumped and still managed to get down into my finger. And you can see here, this is after my operation because I severed the tendon, so the end of my finger would only come down straight like that. It wouldn't bend like this. So this little thing put me into this. Tomorrow I'll get a smaller one, and they tell me about 6 weeks I'll be free of anything, any device to restrict movement. So I wanted to show that. It's pretty intense. Then you have the wrong accident. You know, normally a nick from this is no big deal, but I accidentally buried the whole blade, severed a tendon. So for the most part, what we do is safe, but it can be dangerous. And if you're younger, especially down 12, 13 years old, or even younger, and you're doing this, make sure your parents are around in case you have an accident. I really wanted to go over tools and show what can happen. So, you know, I mean, I know I look a little dumb, but wanted to warn you guys. So that's it for now. We'll get to some customizations and whatnot in the future.